Hi, everyone. This is Frank with Teachly University. In this lecture today, we're going to be discussing Neville Goddard and really the concepts that he discusses on how to unleash our dreams and to go within and assuming the wish fulfilled. Or to put it another way, which I think sums up the theme of much of his work, is living as if our prayers have already been answered. And this is a radical concept even to this day. Because the conventional wisdom that we are told is that in order to achieve something, we have to burn ourselves out in this sort of hustle culture that we live in today. We got to stay busy, 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 take massive amounts of action, which is the only way that we can get to where we want to go. And it's not to say taking action isn't important. The problem is that the action that we take is based on the mindset of lack and scarcity. Because deep down, we don't believe that what we want is possible. So we take action to try to achieve something, hoping that if we achieve that thing, whatever that may be, it'll make us feel a certain way or it'll put us in the ideal state. And then what happens is that even if we achieve what it is that we want to achieve, we feel empty inside because it's not really what we wanted, but it was to feel a certain way. But as Neville says, that with your desire defined, go quietly within and shut the door behind you. Lose yourself in your desire, feel yourself be one with it. Remain in this fixation until you absorb the life and name by claiming and feeling yourself to be and to have that which you desired. When you emerge from the hour of prayer, you must do so conscious of being and possessing that which you heretofore desired. So it is living in the end, living as if your prayers have already been answered. You shut the door behind you and no longer are distracted by the noise and negativity of everyday life. And you bring into the present moment what it is that you want. And there's a paradox here in this process because once you bring it in the present moment of what it is that you want, feeling as if what you want is in the present moment now, you really no longer think about it. You go about your day. And when you no longer allow your desires to control you, because you are the master of your destiny and you already feel or have achieved the ideal state now, then that's when manifestation really happens, when we're no longer trying to force things. We take action, but the action we take is inspired and congruent with our new beliefs that what we want is possible. So when you drop your desire in consciousness as a seed, confident that it shall appear in its full-blown potential, you have done all that is expected of you. To be worried or concerned about the manner of their unfoldment is to hold these fertile seeds in a mental grasp, and therefore to prevent them from really maturing a full harvest. What you impress on the subconscious mind, as Dr. Joseph Murphy says in his book, The Power of the Subconscious Mind, the subconscious has to express itself in some way. And when you assume and impress upon the subconscious affirmations that what you want is impossible, and you express ideas of lack and worry and fear, that has to express itself in some way. And that expresses itself through negative circumstances and experiences. Because what you're focusing on or what you choose to focus on is lack. But when you impress on the subconscious what it is that you want, assuming the wish fulfilled, affirming that I am healthy, I am happy, I am in the right job that is making me enough money that I can support myself and my family, so on and so forth. Those are just some broad examples. When you say this enough times to yourself, it becomes so ingrained into your subconscious mind because you're not trying to force it. You just assume the wish fulfilled. You do this enough times, you no longer think about it. You don't even have to affirm what you want because it's already done. And as I said, that is how manifestation really happens because you become the person that brings forth these desires and this ideal state and this ideal life. It becomes second nature. You don't really have to force or stress out about it anymore. So then all you can possibly need or desire is already yours. You need no helper to give it to you. It is yours now. Call your desires into being by imagining and feeling your wish fulfilled as the end is accepted. You become totally indifferent as to possible failure. For acceptance of the end wills the means to that end. So when you live in the end, when you feel the wish fulfilled and you live in the present moment, the means to how your wish be brought forth will reveal itself to you. Life reveals itself to you when you live in the present moment. New synchronicities, opportunities, experiences, new relationships, people that you meet, that seem to just come out of nowhere. They just seem to just happen without much effort on your part. And this has happened to me on a number of occasions. And it happens when I'm not trying to force an outcome. And that's what creates excitement and euphoria and variety in life. When life isn't as linear, that what you want just surprises you, it comes out of nowhere. So when you emerge from the moment of prayer, it is as though you were shown the happy and successful end of a play, although you were not shown how that end was achieved. However, having witnessed the end, regardless of any anticlimactic sequence, you remain calm and secure in the knowledge that the end has been perfectly defined. This is important. When you're meditating and imagining what it is that you want and living out or living in the end of this vision of a more ideal future, it's important that you don't try to consciously try to force or worry about how it's going to happen. You remain calm and at peace. And whatever it is that you're feeling, even if you feel self-doubt, that's okay. Accept it. Accept it as part of the process. When you go about your day and assume the wish fulfilled and walk in faith knowing that what you want is possible, and you impress upon not just your subconscious, but this infinite intelligence, this mystery of life that is responsible for all that is around us, and surrender to it by embodying the good and love that is a part of life, then things start to happen. And then you're no longer living in stress or fear because you're whole and complete. And this is important because sensation precedes manifestation and is a foundation upon which all manifestation rests. Be careful of your moods and feelings, for there is an unbroken connection between your feelings and your visible world. Your body is an emotional filter and bears the unmistakable marks of your prevalent emotions. Emotional disturbances, especially suppressed emotions, are the causes of all disease. To feel intensely about a wrong without voicing or expressing that feeling is the beginning of a disease in both body and environment. Do not entertain the feeling of regret or failure, for frustration or detachment from your objective results in disease. So when it comes to disease, there's a lot of studies that show how stress, anger, fear, depression, these negative emotions can help contribute to disease and illness. And part of the reason then why we feel so stressed and anxious and fearful and depressed and angry and resentful and all these negative emotions is because we try to suppress them while trying to force a desire to be brought forth. That's why we stay busy. We almost feel like we're that hamster in a spinning wheel. We just stay busy, 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 thinking that if we just stay busy and work hard enough, somehow what we want will be brought forth. More often than not, this doesn't happen. In fact, this pushes away what it is that we want. So as Neville says, when he says that sensation precedes manifestation, it means that how we feel on a consistent basis will eventually manifest itself in its physical form in some way. Whatever we impress on the subconscious mind, it has to express itself in some way. So when we cultivate emotions of negativity, these emotional disturbances over time, not only can disrupt our lives, it can disrupt our bodies and our health. And again, we've seen enough studies to show how stress can negatively impact the body and encourage disease. So we must be very careful with how we feel. Again, this is not about trying to force outcomes or try to obsess about controlling our emotions. If we feel a certain way, even if it's negative, that's okay. Accept it, surrender to it. And when we accept and surrender and let go of what it is that we're feeling, we unblock all this energy that has been stored within us for so long, that's been held inside of us because we've suppressed it because of these negative emotions that we refuse to accept or face. Negative emotions can be just as important as positive ones because negative emotions tell us what it is that we actually want. So it's important that we listen to our negative emotions. But then once we do so and we let go, then whenever every reaction is an equal and opposite reaction. So then we can embrace more positive emotions. Without the negative, we can embrace the positive. So important to realize this. Sensation precedes manifestation. We feel euphoric. We feel happy now, living in the present moment now, in states of flow. Life seems to happen to us, and we no longer have to force outcomes and force things consciously or through action because creation then is already done. So be not afraid nor dismayed by reason of this great multitude, for the battle is not yours, but God's. You do not fight against your problem. Your problem will only live as long as you are conscious of it. Take your attention away from your problem and the multitude of reasons why you cannot achieve your ideal. Concentrate your attention entirely upon the thing desired. There's an affirmation that says that be still, for I am God. When we realize we have godlike powers of imagination, that we can imagine anything we desire and we can bring it forth in one way, shape, or form, we surrender to God and this power of imagination that is also within us. And also, we are no longer trying to solve a problem within a problem. A problem will never get solved when you're working within it. It's when you outgrow the problem, when it no longer concerns you. Not to say that it's disappeared right away, but you outgrow it because you're no longer thinking about it or worried about it because you know one way or the other it will be solved. Because the overarching theme or goal which you want to achieve will take care of any other underlying problem that you may have. Because ultimately, many of our problems stems from our self-limiting beliefs. And if we can cure just one self-limiting beliefs, then that can also change and carry over to many of the other perhaps challenges that we are experiencing or limiting beliefs that are holding us back. That's why concentration is so important. It does take some effort, not through force, but to taking the time to really be self-aware of how it is that we're thinking and be conscious of it, but not to solve a problem by working within it that never works. So to attempt to change circumstances before I change my own imaginal activity is to struggle against the very nature of my own being. For my own imaginal activity is animating my world. So we change our circumstances by working within the circumstances of the physical plane. But to change anything outside of us, it does require going within. It requires first we do the mental work and the concentration and focus of what it is that we want. And this takes time. For some people, this personal transformation, this quantum leap, as Price Pritchett talks about in his work, The Quantum Leap Strategy, takes time. It can happen very quickly, but it may take time. But at some point, you will achieve this quantum leap if you stay consistent with this process. Living in the end, not worrying about how something is going to happen. You're already living your best life now. You're living your ideal state now. Creation is done. You don't have to worry about what you want, whether or not it's going to happen, because you don't care about much about it anymore. What you have is already here. That's it. And living this way is refreshing and liberating. And by living this way and embodying this mindset, that is then how you will change your circumstance. Well, all of a sudden, your circumstances change. Initially, you may not see anything happen at first, but then all of a sudden, some new experience occurs that totally blows your mind. And then once this happens, this entire process becomes addicting, where you're no longer trying to force something and you're living in the end. And it's truly refreshing and liberating, where life is never the same after you experience this. So there's nothing wrong with our desire to transcend our present state. There will be no progress in this world were it not for man's dissatisfaction with himself. It is natural for us to seek a more beautiful personal life. It is right that we wish for greater understanding, greater health, greater security. There seems to be this self-limiting belief or unconscious belief that it's wrong to want to improve our lives or become healthier, wealthier, and have more. And I've always believed that rather than obsessing about time management, how we manage our time or work-life balance, what we should really be thinking about is how we can achieve everything that we want in our life. How can we make the most out of life right now? That's something to seriously consider. How can we improve our lives? How can we make the most out of it? How can we get what we want? Because we improve the world when we become a better person. Not only does our life become better, the lives of others become better when we improve and become the person we've always wanted to be. There is nothing wrong with wanting to achieve more and have more in your life. We become servants when we become a good person, when we help others, and we become our best self, but also improve every aspect of our lives. And that is how we can serve others, by being the best version of ourselves and improving our own life. There's nothing wrong with this. It's okay to have desires and goals. What's important, though, is that we don't let our desires enslave us, where we're only going to be happy if we achieve this particular goal. Stop waiting for something to happen to feel a certain way and feel good right now. You can control the way you think. This is your brain, it's your mind. You control it. You can decide how you want to think. It's within your control. So, to be transformed, the whole basis of your thoughts must change. But your thoughts cannot change unless you have new ideas, for you think from your ideas. All transformation begins with an intense, burning desire to be transformed. The first step in the renewing of the mind is desire. You must want to be different before you can begin to change yourself. Then you must make your future dream a present fact. You do this by assuming the feeling of your wish fulfilled. By desiring to be other than what you are, you can create an ideal of your life. So, as Einstein has said, that insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, accepting a different result. So, if we're serious about changing, we must be patient with ourselves, but also entertain new ideas and new possibilities. Cultivate these feelings of desire, of passion for what it is that we want. We're in a calm state, relaxed, and assume that what we want is already here now. And when you do this enough times, and you stay consistent with this and persistent, it is only a matter of time that what we want will manifest itself in the physical world. But to do this, for this to happen, to achieve this quantum leap, we have to think in new ways and act in new ways. That means it does require some action on our part. We have to get a little uncomfortable. We have to take some calculated risks in order for us to make this change. It could be as simple as taking a new route to work, or going up to an attractive stranger to ask them out on a date, whatever that may be. It's just doing one thing different every day that can radically transform your life and bring your desires into the present moment now. And life becomes this delicious experience of abundance, where everything you touch turns to gold. That you are living your best life now, you're in this flow, and finally, you have achieved your dreams because you brought them into the present moment. And you no longer have to strain or force your desires to be brought forth, because you're already living your ideal state now. And that's when I think really the magic of life happens and life reveals itself to you. So thank you so much for listening to this lecture, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you can watch all my lectures on personal growth, creativity, entrepreneurship, and wealth building. So thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.